about socialization? Hi, I'm Lori Board with Grace Family Ministries, where our ministry is advancing the cause of Christ to the ends of the earth, beginning right at home. This is a homeschool series. I did one video already on why we chose to homeschool. And today I just wanted to bring up the question of, what about socialization? And that's a loaded question. It's probably the biggest question most homeschoolers get, because they don't want their kids to be awkward and shy and not know how to hang out with other people. And like I said, it's a loaded thing because, well, you'll see why. So anyway, the first thing I would say to that is, with homeschooling, you do control your whole schedule. So while there needs to be certain days of homeschooling, I know in Indiana we have a number of homeschooling days compared to what the public school does. But that's very broad. And you also, basically you control your schedule. So if you would like to socialize with someone else and organize, there's a lot of co-ops and play dates and things that go on in the homeschool community. As well as, I will say that as parents, it is your job to mold and shape, well, I mean, obviously the Lord does the work, but our heart should be to be building in our child's character, who they are, and how they respond, even in social situations. That is our job as well. So there are a lot of creative ideas that you can have. I know when our kids were young, we had a kind of a multifaceted project that we did. When funds were short to buy curriculum and things, we would sell the Christian calendars that had really nice pictures, and we'd train our kids in their little sales pitch with the spectacular photos and things like that. And we would go around the neighborhood and say, would you like to buy a calendar to support our education? But we would train them to look into people's eyes and to clearly enunciate and to do some of these things so that they were used to talking to adults and other people that they did not know, even from a younger age, and also learning rejection, because there were people that would say no, but no matter what, they also even handed them a gospel tract and said, well, then may the Lord Jesus Christ bless you. So all in all, that's just one simple tool that we used to help our children learn to communicate. We have done some speech contests. I know we have some other videos on our site that you can look at with our older sons, and so that's definitely defining for them to learn how to communicate, speak to others. They're also involved in, we have youth group at church, and due to our ministry life, we travel quite a bit, stay in people's homes. We've had missionaries even before we started traveling come into our home on quite a regular basis. Visitors at church and stuff that, our children would learn to communicate, socialize. So I guess what I'm saying is there's plenty of opportunity to teach and train your kids to socialize in that sense and to be able to communicate with others. I will say too that on the one hand, and this is not just my heart, but I believe others would say the same thing, as a parent, the scriptural precedence is that we want our children to also socialize with basically a companion. You want them to be a companion of wise men and not fools. So that's another thing that you have some choice of with, and when you're homeschooling, is you do not have to just socialize with anybody and everybody and send your kids off for the day and wonder what kind of friends they're making, what kind of influences. And I always remember Ken Ham always said, it's the Christian kids that come home with the bad language. It's not typically the other kids that go home talking about the Lord and things like that. That being said, there are a lot of well-meaning people in the public schools who want to reach out to unbelievers. I have felt strongly that just like Army boot camp training, you don't send untried warriors out to battle and expect them to do well. They go to boot camp training, they get a totally new identity there. They are trained hard and fast, and they learn how to do what they need to do. And I guess that's what we see homeschooling as. Our homeschool name is actually Enlisted for His Glory Academy. So that whole idea of being in the Lord's Army and it being a training time, and I believe that our kids, even in our neighborhood, they will have conversations with the neighborhood kids about the Lord Jesus Christ, but they are not in the public school system learning the things that the government is intent on them learning. So that's kind of the balance of socialization. There's good, there's bad of socialization as well, which is something that we realize. So just to encourage, homeschooling is not a death sentence on your child's social life. As far as my kids have friends actually all over the United States. They have pen pals, they have people that we travel and see on a regular basis, and yeah, so we've really enjoyed it. We have not had any problems with socialization. So anyway, we just pray that whatever choices, that we honor the Lord with the people that we are spending time with and giving our heart to and listening to, and ultimately that we as parents would encourage and challenge our children's hearts in how they communicate well and how they care about others. And there's always more work to do. We have not arrived in our family, and I'm sure you guys would feel the same, that in your family all our kids need attention in learning how to communicate with people. So anyways, I'm Lori Board with Grace Family Ministries and Homeschooling 101.